A new year is the perfect time to reset, reimagine, and recreate for your LinkedIn profile. And today I'm going to be sharing the 6 things that you should do as part of your LinkedIn reset routine. So grab your cup of tea and let's dive into it. When your LinkedIn profile feels inactive or dead, then so can your professional personal brand. So take the opportunity with a new year to breathe new life into your digital online presence for your professional personal brand. Remember that feeling when you used to come back from your summer holiday break and you would try and put your best foot forward for yourself for a fresh new year? This is an attitude that I feel like we lose as we get older. As adults, our break between years or our holiday periods get shorter, and we lose this mindset of being able to reset and really put our best self forward in a new year. So today I'm going to be sharing the 6 things that I think that you can do that will make a big difference to your LinkedIn presence. So let's get into tip number 1. My tip number 1 is to feng shui your LinkedIn social feed. In their book, Joy at Work, organizational psychologist Scott Schoenenstein teams up with cleaning extraordinaire Maria Kondo, whose Marie Kondo method was made famous in her books The Magic of Tidying Up and Spark Joy. And they apply her Marie Kondo method to the workplace and some of those key principles. One thing that really stood out to me in that book that I really loved was a reference that they made to feng shuiing your inbox. And they described that feng shui experts agree that when you clear the clutter in that way, you pave the way for being able to receive more of what it is that you are actually hoping to. And I thought that this is probably something that could also be applied to social media or to your LinkedIn feed. Just because you have followed an organization doesn't mean that you have to keep following them. Your goals and your priorities likely change as you progress in your career, as you learn new things, as you develop new goals. So take the opportunity to consider if the people that you are following still align with your goals, your values, your priorities, and unfollow things that no longer align with those. Because this gives you an opportunity to then focus your attention on the things that are most going to contribute to your success in your career. Your focus is not being diluted by things that no longer align. And while I am talking about organizations to begin with, this can actually also apply to people, which brings me to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is going to be a controversial one for many people, and that is to burn your bridges. The idea of burning any bridges professionally used to be considered for a very long time to be professional suicide. It was not considered appropriate in any way, shape, or form to have any sort of negative relationship or do anything that could potentially be damaging to a relationship that you had with a former colleague or a former employer. But let's think about where the term burning your bridges actually came from. This was believed to be a Roman military tactic that meant that you were giving yourself no opportunity to be able to retreat. You had to go all in on whatever that next move was. I'm in no means saying to act unprofessionally or to do anything that could in any way, shape or form hurt your professional personal brand, but to be wary that in this day and age we are less in a place where we have to put up with behaviors and relationships that were either immoral, unethical, or even in some cases potentially illegal. Employees are more in a position than ever to be able to stand up for their rights in that place and to align with organizations that do actually reflect their values. And when it comes to your social media feed, even on LinkedIn, you do not have to have anyone on there that you don't want to. No one is entitled to a spot on your social media feed because of some relationship that you may have had with them that is perhaps no longer as relevant. You can clear your social media feed to remove any toxic relationships from your social media feed that are preventing you, to use Marie Kondo's words, to spark joy. Because if your own social media feed isn't sparking joy for you, then how are you going to have the confidence to be able to move forward in your career? There is a YouTuber who I love to watch who originally came from a very conservative career in investment banking, and she talks about having removed everyone that she used to work with from her LinkedIn feed. And this was less about her having an issue with any of those people and more about what this would do for her career going forward. She knew that if she was to remove those people, that when she made videos and when she wanted to share content, that she wouldn't be held back by the limiting beliefs that she had about what those people might think about her, or potentially feeling embarrassed about the content that she was going to post. And she has experienced a meteoric rise in her professional brand and in her career as a result of the content that she has been able to put out there. And it makes you wonder if that would have been the case if she wasn't able to let go of some of those earlier relationships that were no longer a part of where she wanted to be moving forward in her career. Some people are only meant to be in your life for a season and not necessarily for the long term. And I think that that is something that not enough people talk about in the professional space. There are 8 billion people in the world. If you burn some bridges, you will be able to build new ones. If the idea, though, of burning bridges is a little bit too much for you, then there's always the options to mute and hide posts. So this will help you to have more confidence on your social media feeds and in your posts, because you'll eventually forget about who you even have on your LinkedIn profile. Tip number 3 for your LinkedIn reset is to connect and follow with intention. With your LinkedIn social media feed all cleaned up, this is an opportunity to really think about who you want to connect with, who is most aligned with your priorities and your values and your messages going forward. Who is that dream employer that you want to work with? What's that organization or that other personal brand that you want to partner up with? Follow those organizations, follow those people, and with a cleaned up social media feed, you are more likely going to see their content. You're going to be able to keep completely across what it is that that business brand or that professional brand represents, so that when your opportunity comes to actually align with them in an even more meaningful way, you're going to be completely knowledgeable about the things that they care about and where your opportunities to align are. And when you do this, don't be afraid to connect with people that you don't know. And this can include and should include people on the global stage. It doesn't need to just be the people that live in your local city or your state. It can be at a national and global level. In his book, The 10X Rule, which a lot of you would know I am a big fan of, Grant Cardone talks about this idea of winners not copying but creating. But he does say that if you are going to spend any time emulating anyone, make sure that it is the biggest person that you can think of on that stage, the biggest group of leaders in that sphere. Because by following those people and learning about what they have done to be successful in those spaces, then you automatically elevate your own standards compared to perhaps the echo chamber that you are currently in. You can then make sure that you are aligning with the things that the top people in that industry would be doing. Another book that I love is Wayne Dyer's The Power of Intention. And something that he talks about in a lot of his books is this idea of everything being energy, and that you can align your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions with frequency and energy to achieve your desired outcomes. And this is less woohoo and more actually about quantum physics and about the potentialities that exist in other fields. So, by stacking your social media feed with things that more align with the energy and the frequency that you have in your goals and in your priorities, then you're more likely going to be able to align your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions with those things. I also like to link this back to this idea of your reticular activation system, which I've talked about on this channel before. Your reticular activation system is your brain's way of filtering out the noise and focusing in on what is most important to it. For example, when you decide that there is a particular car that you want in a particular color and a particular model, then you will start to notice that thing everywhere. The amount of people driving that particular car hasn't actually changed. Your brain has. It is now paying more attention to that thing. So by clearing up your social media feed, being intentional about who you actually follow, then your thoughts are more aligned to your priorities, and it is going to be clearer for your brain as to what the path is that it needs to take to be able to achieve your goals. Tip number 4 is to spring clean your SEO. The new year is the perfect time to revisit your SEO strategy. Again, if your goals or your priorities have changed, how is this being reflected in your SEO strategy? What needs to be updated? Have a look again at your About Me section of your LinkedIn profile, at the various sections that are throughout your profile, and consider how this is aligning with the key words that you have identified as being a priority for your SEO strategy, the key search terms. Have a look at your headline, what needs to be updated in that space. Have a look at the skills section of your profile. What needs to be added? What can maybe be removed if it's no longer a priority? This is an opportunity for you to be discoverable by people if you are looking for a new job in the new year. People get recruited directly from LinkedIn all the time, and having a search engine optimized profile allows you to be able to do that. You become discoverable to recruiters or to hiring managers. But if you're not looking for a new job, having an SEO optimized profile related to the things that you care about or you have expertise in is going to help you to be discoverable to other people in your industry, other people who align with your messages. So it's still something that should be a priority for your LinkedIn profile. I have a previous episode that goes into the details of your SEO strategy for your LinkedIn profile. So if you want more information about some of the finer details of the SEO strategy that you can apply to LinkedIn, then check out my previous episode on this. Tip number 5 for your end of year LinkedIn reset is to get ready to glow up your profile. I have done a whole other episode on how you can glow up your LinkedIn profile instantly. But the main thing that you can do at the end of the year is to be able to prepare for this. Spend the time over the holiday break to consider taking a new headshot, to consider updating the banner on your LinkedIn profile. Remember that feeling when you would go back to school for a new year with fresh new books and fresh stationery, maybe you had a new outfit, and the new confidence that that would give you to start fresh in a new year. So apply that same thinking to your LinkedIn profile. Do you really want to go into the new year with feeling any of the hangover from the previous year, or do you want to be able to start fresh, to look like you are ready to tackle anything that this new year has to bring? And taking a new headshot does not need to be this huge exercise that requires a professional to be able to take it for you. All you need is your camera phone. And the best thing about the holiday season is that usually for all of the socializing that we do during that time of the year, we often look our best throughout that period. So it's just a matter of taking a few extra minutes during that time to snap a headshot for yourself or get a friend or a family member to do this for you. The only caveat that I will put on this is to make sure that you aren't doing what a lot of people do when they are going to an event, say a cocktail party, and they use the headshot crop from that photo. When I see things like that, to me personally, it says, although that is a lovely photo, it hasn't been taken specifically with the intention of LinkedIn. So to a degree, it can come across as lazy, and often the outfits that you see in those scenarios aren't actually usually that appropriate in the professional space either. So take the opportunity to put on some professional clothes, take the headshot, then go to whatever your next event is. With just a few minutes of some extra effort over the holiday period, you will be able to go back to school with a fresh new look. Tip number 6 is to plan your portfolio of proof. Research has shown that January is the time when most people will quit their jobs. So maybe this is you in 2025, maybe it will be you in 2026, maybe it is years away for you still. But either way, make sure that you are planning for when that moment will come and establishing a LinkedIn profile that is a portfolio of proof for your skills and for your expertise. For example, when someone heads onto your profile, does it feel really active with your skills, your enthusiasm for your industry, with your expertise? Does it showcase your depth of knowledge, or does it feel outdated, inactive, neglected? There are ways that you can build a portfolio of proof on your LinkedIn profile to showcase your expertise. Maybe you're publishing videos, maybe you're writing articles, maybe you are sharing regular short form posts. Austin Keylong, in his book Show Your Work, says, imagine if your next boss didn't have to read your resume because he already reads your blog. Imagine being a student and getting your first gig based on a school project you posted online. Imagine losing your job but having a social network of people familiar with your work and ready to help you find a new one. So if you're not doing it already, plan and build your portfolio of proof for your professional brand. Get the job with your next employer before you've even applied. If you want to learn more about how you can instantly elevate your LinkedIn profile in minutes, then check out my previous episode on this. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.